Joining me from Amelia Island is Daniel Hulett. He's a real estate advisor with One Sotheby's International Realty. Daniel, welcome to the podcast.
Hey, thanks so much. Appreciate you having me. And happy Halloween.
Happy Halloween. Yeah. Yeah. Great to have you. I appreciate you joining.
Yeah.
I haven't been to Amelia Island. There's a lot of places that I love in Florida. I've heard a lot about Amelia Island. Tell me a little bit about that area.
Yeah, it's a neat little island, little barrier island just off Florida. It's as far northeast in Florida as you can possibly get. From our downtown, we can see Georgia. So it's a neat. It's not your typical Florida town, that's for sure. When you think palm trees and South Beach, all that. We have quite a bit of palm still, but pine trees and oak trees. We're kind of a mix of South Florida and Savannah. So you get those
Yeah.
big mossy oaks, and we still have a beautiful pristine beach. It's nice.
I
Yeah,
bet
we
it's
have a quaint.
beautiful.
Yeah, we have a quaint little downtown. It's kind of a historic area. It's cool.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Share a little bit about your background. What inspired your real estate career?
Sure, sure. So prior to real estate, I was a firefighter, paramedic for the city of Fernandina Beach for 15 years, and my wife and I had the opportunity to buy into a home watch company called Coastal Concierge Services. So it's a home watch property management company. So we bought into that and ran that for a little while. Um, and one of her customers called her one day and said, "Hey, you're a real estate agent, right?" And we said, "No, we're not. But we can refer you to a friend close friend that is." And she said, "Okay, great." We referred her to our friend, and uh, heard about 2 weeks later from this friend, "Oh man, thanks for that referral. This person went and they bought a $2.5 million condo cash, and pretty much it was the easiest transaction I've ever done in my life, and made 40 grand. Thanks." Like,
Yeah.
oh, well, I'll never let that happen again.
Right, right.
So, so the next week I went and got my license. Yeah.
Share for listeners a little bit of insights into the Amelia Island market that there. And how far away is Fernandina Beach? Is that
Yeah,
also on the island?
it is. Yeah. So
Okay.
if you're local, you'll call it Fernandina Beach. If you're marketing or talking to somebody that's not from the area, it's Amelia Island. So they're interchangeable for the most part, but there is a city limit on Amelia Island. But for the most part, they're interchangeable. It's the same
Okay.
thing. As far as VRBOs, Airbnbs, short-term rentals, we don't have as many as other cities are. Within the city limits, there's very strict regulations in certain zones that you can and cannot do short-term rentals. So it's not near as much as other cities, but we do have it's a fairly decent market um, for investment properties.
I love the idea of getting into the real estate industry through the second home management
Hmm.
business. I think that probably gave you a lot of insights into an experience when it came to working with your ideal client, you know, building those customer service and client relation skills, and also building a sphere of influence. I would imagine a lot of those clients in the second home management business became retail residential real estate clients as well.
Yeah, absolutely. It's my biggest source of new transactions. Yeah, by far.
What's the environment like in Northeast Florida? Are you pretty? Is it sort of its own unique market?
We are, yeah. We're somewhat of an isolated market. We just don't have the inventory other markets do, so we can maintain
Yeah.
value fairly well, even though we are seeing more listings come on market over the summer. But we're,
Mhm.
we're fairly seasonal that way as well.
Yeah.
But we're starting to see a bit more pending transactions. We've got about 4.5 months of inventory right now, so we're teetering almost on a buyer's market. And sellers are making some pretty decent concessions right now. Um,
Yeah.
so, but yeah, we're fairly isolated still, compared to Jacksonville or some other areas. We're still producing. It's just, it almost feels like weekly what's producing. One week it could be luxury market, the next it's new homeowner, first time homeowners. It's sporadic, but yeah, it's
Yeah.
still fairly decent.
So I would love to ask you, get some insights into, one of the questions I've been bringing up lately in a lot of these conversations is kind of leaning on the guest to share some insights into tools or systems that are essential to how you run your business. What are some of those systems that you swear by when it comes to your real estate business?
Sure. Face to face is by far the biggest and best tool to use. Get out, network, or as my colleague calls it, belly to belly, not face to face. Um,
I heard that the other day for the first
yeah,
time, actually, and I've
yeah,
been in sales for my almost my entire career, and I heard that
yeah.
on this podcast just the other day for the first
Is
time.
that
Someone
right?
said, yeah, he said I prefer the belly to belly marketing, and I was like, oh wow,
Yeah, I agree with that. And that's how you really get to know somebody, and it's yeah, you get to know their motives, what they're looking for. Um, it's just the best way to network. Outside of that, social media is kind of the new trending big platform for everybody to use to get the name out. It's cheap marketing. Um, whether or not it produces anything, I don't know. I think it's more just to stay top of mind, remind everybody what you do, make sellers happy that you're pushing out some product for them. But I still think, email campaigns and face to face is really the bread and butter of for this.
that kind of leads into another topic I want to ask you about, and that's something I ask everyone, and it's selfishly, it's really just to kind of support uh, for my own peace of mind to support, an activity that I spend a lot of time in, and that is face to face networking,
Hmm.
face to face engagements, and lunches with clients and lunches with referral partners. And how important would you say uh, that networking is to the success of a realtor's career?
I'm sure it's different for everybody, but for my personal career, it's that's everything. Um, I think not only with your customers or repeat customers or potential customers, but with agents alike too. Doing networking events. That's where you can get referrals coming into you. If people don't know who you are and you've never talked to them, and they're not going to send you any business. But um, I had dinner with a ex. I hate to say ex customer because they're always customers. That
Sure.
could be another one soon. He has this saying: if they're not a customer now, they can, or yeah, they can be, or they
Yep.
should be. Yeah.
Yep.
So everybody's a potential customer. So face to face and networking is the bread and butter for sure.
Have you always been with the Sotheby's brand?
No, I started out with Keller Williams
Okay.
for roughly a year or so.
Mhm.
But quickly switched over to Sotheby's. I think it just aligned a bit more with my clientele.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Um,
Sotheby's, when I think of Sotheby's or Christie's, which I know is a competitive brand, but those are two brands that I think of uh, when I think of those two brands, I think of things like luxury and affluence and
sure.
um, the marketing assets, the branding at Sotheby's and the marketing assets are, all just a premier, top of the line type of assets, and so it makes sense to me that if you're working with if your business leans a little bit more affluent, that would make sense to partner with them. Have you
Mhm.
has that worked out well for you for your business? Has it
It's
been a
been
good
great.
alignment?
It has. Since I've gone to Sotheby's, my production has doubled every year so far.
Really? Wow.
So
Yeah.
yeah. So hopefully I can ride this train and keep going, but
There you go.
we'll
Yeah.
see.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah.
The
And
the top.
I don't know that that was necessarily. I'd like to say Sotheby's definitely helps. They have
Sure.
such a strong name and like you said, marketing.
Yeah.
But maybe it's just time and experience too. I'm fairly new to the industry still, so.
Yeah, and you do have to give yourself credit because the brand, where we hang our license is only going to take us so far. And to be honest with you, it doesn't matter how powerful the brand is; it's really not going to take you far at all. You have to do all the work, right? You
That's
still have
right.
to do
That's
all the
right.
work.
That's right.
That reminds me too. One of the top brokers here in the state of North Carolina. He's a guest on this podcast. He's been a great friend of mine here locally. He's based here in the Charlotte metro area. He's been a big supporter and helped. He's somebody that when I have an idea, when I need some advice, he's one of several that I lean on here locally. Amazing producer. Do you know Ben Bowen?
I do know Ben. Yeah,
Do you?
great golfer. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, great golfer. Yeah, that's funny. Yeah, he specializes. He's known as the someone who specializes in golf properties. So if
Yeah.
there's any of the exclusive clubs that we have around the Charlotte and Lake Norman area, he has performed transactions in for sure.
Oh,
Yeah.
good. Yeah, he's a nice guy. We just got back from a Sotheby's networking event together in Greenville, South Carolina. So it
Oh,
was,
really? Yeah, yeah,
yeah, we do quite a bit of networking events together, especially when there's golf involved. So
yeah. Perfect. Are you a
yeah,
golfer as well?
I am. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
not at the same skill level as Ben, but yes. Yeah,
Well, not many of us can be, right?
yeah,
But
that's right.
yeah, he a super guy. I love Greenville, South Carolina, by the way, too.
You
Were you
know,
guys downtown?
we stayed at the Bohemian downtown, and then we had conference downtown as well.
Yeah.
But man, that was my first time, and it's a very unassuming city. It's
Mhm.
very neat. I
It
was
is.
expecting a quaint town, but it's actually quite the metropolitan area. But
It
it's so
is.
clean and safe and nice. It was great, walkable.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's that Greenville, South Carolina is quite the little gem. It's
it
still
is.
a little bit of a hidden secret, but I think the secret is getting out. So how do you manage follow-ups and when it comes to nurturing client relationships and, I know face-to-face, one-on-one interaction and follow-up is important for you and your business. What are
Sure.
some ways that you manage those follow-ups and nurture relationships with past clients?
Yeah, quite a few ways. Every morning I write one letter, handwritten letter to somebody, whether it's a past customer, somebody I'm trying to network with or farm with, or just somebody I think needs some uplifting, or somebody that needs I just haven't spoken to in a while. So I just write a little quick handwritten letter. Hey, you're on my mind. Hope all's well. Um, XYZ, and then send that out. It gets great response from that. I usually get a phone call from it, and it's an easy, quick 10-minute conversation. Just, how's life? How are you doing? Let's meet up soon. That, lunches, golf, um, different events around town. It's a small town, so it's easy to run into people. So it's nice. And then I also like to, with my wife's customers, anytime there's a significant sale or really any sale within their neighborhood, I send out just hey, here's the market update. Here's what recently sold, just so you know. So then they're reminded that, hey, I forgot Daniel sells real estate. Here's what my home's worth. And quite often I'll get, hey, can you just come by and do a CMA for me? Just let me know what my house worth. I'm sure.
I love the concept of writing that one letter every morning, and there's
Yeah.
a few reasons why I like that. It's a very personal touch point for you to connect with your clients. I mean, I think that we still, especially, I'm Gen X, and those who are older than me as well, and the Boomer generation, we still, I think, really appreciate that physical connection that we get when we get a card or a letter in the mail.
Hmm.
I think it's still kind of special and definitely a way to set yourself apart. But I also love that you're doing it in the morning, first thing in the morning. And to me, that's sort of like a great positive way to start out the day by
It is.
sitting
It's
down
a
and yeah,
Yeah, it's a great affirmation. In the mornings, it helps you reflect on what you're thankful for.
like a great morning affirmation and a great way to, just remind yourself how grateful you are for this person that you're writing a
Mm,
note to. So I love that.
yeah, I don't think there's been a single time once they received that I haven't received a text or phone call back that just said, "Wow, I like
Isn't
that."
that isn't
Yeah,
that
it's
amazing?
it's
Yep.
such a lost art. It's great. It's
Within this very competitive landscape,
Yep,
and I think we really need to find great ways to nurture those relationships with our clients so that we remain top of mind, and remain that resource for them.
agree. That's usually the number one complaint I hear when I get new customers that have worked with another agent in the past is, they just stopped talking to us. We just never heard from them again.
Yeah.
So,
Yep.
I mean, a phone call or a letter is worth a lot of money if you can just stay in touch.
That's right. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I get it. You know, we get busy. But this is probably something like you have probably on your calendar or on your, as part of your marketing plan, right? You plan ahead for this. You know, it's part of your
Hmm.
day. Every morning you're going to be sitting down and writing this. Yeah. But I do think that's very cool. I might start doing that
Yeah,
myself.
please do. I'm
And
telling you,
keep you posted.
the feedback is amazing.
I bet. Yeah, I imagine it
Yeah,
would be.
yeah,
Daniel, I really appreciate you joining the podcast. This has been
yeah.
awesome. How long have you
Same.
been a licensed realtor?
Licensed for 6 years now. Full
Okay.
time for almost 4.
Okay.
Yeah, I
Excellent.
practiced 2 years when I was at the fire department still, and then left to go
Sure.
full time.
Yeah, and of course, jumping into real estate has its risks, right? I mean, there's
Yes, it
advantages to
does.
being uh, to following the the W-2 route,
Hmm.
because real estate, has a lot of risks. There's healthcare is not included. There's a lot of overhead. It's really essentially the same as starting and running your own business.
Yes, it is. Yeah, you wake up every day unemployed.
That's right. Got to earn it every day.
Yeah, I got to
Yep.
find it.
That's
Yeah,
right. Got to find it. Yeah.
yeah.
Daniel, this has been awesome. For listeners who want to learn a little bit more about you and Amelia Island and connect with you, what's the best way?
Probably Instagram. Is the easiest way, or just give me a call. I'd rather just talk to you.
It's been awesome. I will hit you up when I'm in the area down there
Please
in
do.
Northeast Florida. I would love to check out Amelia Island and grab a coffee with you. So Daniel,
Uh,
thanks again so much. Really appreciate it.
that'd be great. Thank you. I appreciate it.